Hi everybody, it's Julia, your trusted travel expert, helping you find that je ne sais quoi wherever you are in the world. And this week I want to talk about something very, very practical and very, very necessary. And I thought self-explanatory, but apparently based on the last week's events, not. And I'm talking about this, your passport. The document that you have to leave the country for any reason. But there are different tweaks that apparently, like I said, I thought that people knew, but apparently they don't. First things first, you do not actually have to have a valid passport to book an international flight. The airlines don't care. They won't let you board unless your passport is valid and up to date and has a expiration that matters, but that'll be the second point. But, you know, if you think about it, if your passport's expired or you don't have your first passport, you can still book the international flight. And apparently, this is something new for me even, they don't automatically alert you, you know, a week or two before if there's not passport information entered into the flight. So that is why I always ask my clients to send me the photo page of their passport so that I can double check their expiration date. And also just so you put your hands on it. I've lost my own passport several times. I hate admitting that as much as I travel, but especially when I moved house and stuff like that, sometimes they just got lost in the shuffle, and it's super, super stressful if the day before your trip you look at your passport and either can't find it or realize that it's 6 months or a year expired. That happened to a client of mine, and it is really not fun. It's really, really stressful. There are one-day passport offices like in Atlanta and Miami and DC, bigger cities like that, where if you can get to that city, you can go and wait all day long and get a passport in the same day, but it's just awful. So when you book an international flight, even if you just book it with your birth date, go and find your passport, put your hands on it, send your travel consultant a picture of it. That's the best. And just double check the expiration. Now, the second reason you want to look at the expiration is that a lot of countries, and not every country, but a lot of countries insist that before you enter their country, you have 6 months left on your passport after your departure date. So if your scheduled departure date is, July 1st, then 6 months after, your passport has to be valid through December 1st, or January 1st of the next year. 6 months, it has to have 6 months left. And the thing is airlines actually are more strict about enforcing this than even some countries. So not every country has this 6 month kind of grace period, because they don't want you to come to their country, have some emergency, and have an expired passport, then you're stuck in their country. So it's really sort of a safety measure for you. But airlines are super, super crazy strict. So even though not every country requires 6 months, some only require 90 days or 3 months or something like that. The airlines will actually prevent you from getting on a plane to, say, Europe, if your passport doesn't expire for long enough. So that's why when you book your international flight, you want to go and look at this page on your passport and make sure that the expiration date is good enough. Now, there's one other little point about passports. If you've got your passport and you've got, expiration is fine, but you're going to a country that requires visas or will do a lot of stamping, some countries with visas will require you to have 2 blank pages. So, you've got stamps and stuff like that on some of your pages, but if you're a frequent business traveler or a frequent traveler, you have to have enough blank pages at the end. And usually countries will say 2 full blank pages if they're going to paste in big old visas. So that's something else you have to think about. They will know they used to be able to go send in your passport and just get more pages added to it. They don't do that anymore. So if you're a frequent traveler, when you renew your passport, or if you're going on a trip and you're already almost out of pages, which I might actually need to do this for my upcoming Africa trip, you want to ask for the extended book or the larger book. So there's a standard size, which is this, or there's a larger book, which is about twice the size of this. It has I forget how many pages in the back, like 40 instead of 20 or something like that. So no more extra pages. You have to have it valid longer than 6 months past your return date to a foreign country. And you need to look at the expiration before or right when you book your flights so that you don't run into a last minute emergency situation like one of my clients had. And that's the final point, is it's your responsibility to make sure that you've got the proper documentation. Obviously, I try and help my clients and make sure that they put their hands on their passports and send me a copy. But not all, some clients are busy and don't always do that. And that's what happened this week. And it was really awful for everybody involved. So that's my PSA for this week. I will talk to you next week. Bye.